You are moments away from wrecking your financial future. And the scariest part is, you think you're cruising toward heaven. The top is down, the shades are on, the music is blasting, and you're convinced Florida is paradise. It's not. Pull over, shut it all off, pay attention. That fantasy of buying a beachfront condo, sipping drinks, and watching your net worth soar, it's finished, completely finished. In 2026, the Florida dream is transformed into a full-blown financial disaster. And I'm not guessing, I'm staring straight at the numbers, insurance costs, HOA financials, market data, and what I see is a collapse happening in real time. If you're buying property in Florida right now, you are not investing, you are gambling. And you're sitting at a table where the casino has stacked the deck so aggressively against you that you'd have better odds buying lottery tickets than earning a real return in the Sunshine State this year. And today, Florida residential real estate has an ROI that isn't just bad, it's poisonous, it's radioactive. In 2026, 3 massive financial hurricanes are hitting Florida at the exact same time. Not weather storms, money storms. The insurance crisis, the condo assessment crisis, and the flood of inventory. Any one of these alone would hurt. All 3 together? That's how markets implode. That's how wealth gets erased. Let's start with the most basic rule of investing. Understand your carrying costs. Most amateurs think the price of the house is the cost. That's wrong. The purchase price is just the admission ticket. The real expense is what it takes to keep that asset alive. In Florida, the cost of survival has exploded. Insurance premiums jumped another 40% in 2026, on top of the massive increases we already saw in 2024 and 2025. I have extremely wealthy friends with gorgeous homes in Naples, Miami, and Palm Beach. They're calling me in a panic saying, "My insurance just came back at $80,000 a year." That's not a mortgage, that's insurance, money that disappears. No equity, no tax benefit, just gone. When carrying costs rise that high, asset values must fall. It's basic math. If $5,000 a month goes to insurance, that's $5,000 less you can afford to pay the bank, so prices have to come down. But sellers are still stuck in 2022. They think their home was worth $2 million. Buyers, staring at the insurance bill, know it's worth maybe $1.2 million. That massive gap between seller fantasy and buyer reality freezes the market. When markets freeze, liquidity evaporates. And when liquidity disappears, panic follows. Florida is now entering the panic stage. Look at the history. During the pandemic, Florida became the destination for everyone. New Yorkers, Californians, Chicago money. Billions poured in. Everything sold. Prices went vertical. It was a mania. And every mania ends. They always overshoot. Now comes the hangover. People are realizing Florida is expensive. Auto insurance is the highest in the country. Property taxes reset at inflated values. Home insurance has become a luxury product. But the real bomb, the one not getting enough attention, is the condo crisis. By 2026, the full impact of post-Surfside safety laws has crushed the condo market. Deferred maintenance is no longer allowed. Structural reserves must be fully funded. That's good for safety, but brutal for owners. Condo boards are slapping owners with special assessments of $50,000, $100,000, even $150,000, payable immediately or over a very short window. Picture a retiree on a fixed income. They bought their condo in Boca 30 years ago. It's paid off. They feel secure. Then a $100,000 bill shows up to repair concrete and roofs. They don't have that money, so they must sell. But everyone else in the building must sell too, and the building next door. Suddenly, thousands of units flood the market and nobody's buying. Buyers see HOA fees of $2,000 a month plus massive assessments and say, no chance. The condos become unsellable. They turn into liabilities. I've seen listings that look cheap until you do the math and realize the property is worth zero. Zero. I wouldn't take it for free because the negative cash flow is financial cancer. In 2026, older Florida condos are landmines. Anything built before 2000 is dangerous. You're buying decades of deferred maintenance. I forbid it. Bring me a 1980s beachfront condo deal and I'll rip it up. That's financial suicide. Now, zoom out to the macro picture.
capital isn't cheap anymore. Rates didn't go back to zero. Borrowing costs are real. The easy money boom is over. Short-term rental investors are getting crushed. Airbnb is oversaturated. Everyone thought buying in Orlando meant free money. Now there are tens of thousands of rentals, vacancies are up, nightly rates are down, and the carrying costs never left. Negative carry is unforgivable. If an asset feeds on your bank account instead of feeding you, you kill it. Investors are dumping properties. They're sprinting for the exits. Inventory is exploding. Days on market stretch into months. Nothing moves. When price discovery finally returns, it happens violently. Crashes are just markets clearing at prices buyers accept, and in Florida, that clearing price is far below today's numbers.
Sellers are in denial, angry. My neighbor sold it for $1 million last year. That was last year. This is a different universe. Buyers are on strike. They see flood maps, insurance quotes, climate risk, and they walk away. Banks are reacting too. Try getting a 30-year mortgage in a high-risk flood zone now. 50% down, huge reserves, tight underwriting. Real estate relies on leverage. Remove leverage, and prices fall. So what does this mean? Owners are sitting on powder kegs. Buyers are staring into minefields. But chaos creates opportunity, just not buying yet. The real opportunity in 2026 is renting. Luxury rents are soft because inventory is massive. You can live in a $2 million oceanfront condo for a fraction of the ownership cost. Ownership burns nearly $200,000 a year when you add opportunity cost, taxes, insurance, and HOA fees. Renting that same unit might cost $120,000 a year. That's an $80,000 annual savings, a Mercedes-Benz for not signing the deed. Let the landlord deal with assessments and insurers. You enjoy the pool. When the lease ends, you leave. Mobility is power. Liquidity is the ultimate luxury in 2026. Some argue Florida's lack of income tax offsets everything. Not if you lose more through insurance and depreciation than you save in taxes. That's stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. High earners should rent, establish residency, but keep assets elsewhere. Treasuries, stocks, gold, global diversification. Florida stucco cracks. Treasuries don't. The insurance system itself is fragile. Adverse selection is at work. Bad risks remain. If a major hurricane hits Miami or Tampa, the system could buckle and force statewide assessments on all policyholders. That's an underfunded risk pool, and I don't invest in those. Migration is slowing. Some are leaving. Costs drove out service workers. When workers leave, quality of life drops. That feeds back into housing demand.
So here's the plan. Own a second home you barely use? Sell it now. Price aggressively. Get liquid. Moving to Florida? Rent and negotiate hard. Use cash leverage. Sophisticated investor? Look at distressed debt, not homes. Diversify globally. Sun exists elsewhere. Park capital in treasuries and earn risk-free returns while others panic. Ignore FOMO. Real estate cycles take years. This correction just started. Boomers are downsizing. Inventory is rising as buyers fade. Remote work demand is shrinking. Avoid pre-construction completely. Projects are being canceled. Financing vanished. Deposits are at risk. I walked away from a Miami Beach condo because the HOA had no reserves, lawsuits pending, and massive deductibles. 3 months later, assessments hit and prices collapsed. That's reality. You must be a detective now. Read HOA minutes. Check delinquencies. If over 5% aren't paying, run. Put money into productive assets. Own insurers. Don't fund them. Hedge reality. Florida isn't disappearing, but gravity always wins. Prices detached from reality, Newton collects his toll. There's no margin of safety right now. None. Your freedom number matters. Bad real estate delays freedom and steals time. Time is the most expensive loss. So here's the warning for 2026. Florida real estate is a no-fly zone. Stay airborne. Let the storm pass. Let prices reset. Fix overexposure. Stop buying. Rent smart. This advice saves millions. Agents want commissions. I want you wealthy. Stay liquid, stay patient, stay disciplined. And today, do not buy. Stay profitable.